Thanks to the support of channel member John Howell. Well, folks, we're homeless, we're skint, we're up for sale, and we can't fill a squad with players that fit into the right positions, but we're in the National League, so who cares? Let's go and... do we get on the telly now? There might be the chance to get on the telly. Hello and welcome to part 58 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it's our first ever games at National League South level. We're playing Ebbsfleet, we're playing Lewis, who we actually played in the Cup last year and got absolutely battered by. That'll be an interesting one. And it's quite the new look team. If you saw the transfer special yesterday, and you should have done, you'll know that we are... well, we're kind of spent up and don't really have a squad. We do have a squad, we just don't really have a left winger. We're having to train some players to play on the left wing. 3 of them, all on the pitch at the same time. It'll be fine. But it doesn't matter because the media think we're going to survive. Ebbsfleet, who we're playing today, are going to finish a little bit above us, but we'd like to go there and beat them. We know we've got goals in our team. Between Laycock, Camper and Best, we've got a very good bunch of attacking players. Hopefully Hannah Duggan is great on that side as well. And if they don't work, Alex Roberts, who's sat down on our bench at the moment, is also a goal scorer. So there's goals. It's just whether we can keep them out at the other end. All eyes on new keeper, Teddy Sharman-Lowe. He is 6'4". I like that in a goalkeeper. And last season's not great back four is reunited. Tremendous. So this is the team for Ebbsfleet. It is Sharman-Lowe in goal, a back four of Machiavelli, Larson, Young and O'Doy, Hannah Duggan, Scowen, Moores and Best in midfield, Camper and Laycock up front. Let's just have a 4-4 draw or something. Start as you mean to go on. We're giving out more squad numbers. There you go. Hannah Duggan's been given the number 11. If that doesn't scream to him that he's going to be our left midfielder this year, I don't know what does. So he's just going to have to learn to play there relatively quickly. The one problem we might have with this master plan of mine is I bet we've agreed to play him in a certain position. We have. We've agreed to play him up front as a pressing forward, which I have no intention of ever doing. So I imagine even if he works out, he'll be recalled before Christmas. But that does give us a little bit of breathing space to get Scowen or Machiavelli natural or at least accomplished in that position. Or, you know, maybe sign somebody else. That might be a thing that we could potentially do. But for now, we muddle everything together and hope it works. I mean, we do have the option, because these 2 boys we've got in central midfield this year, in fact, Moores can't play defensive. In fact, neither of them can play defensive midfield. I was going to say we could drop the defensive midfielders back. We can't. So the 2 lads who were here last year, both of which just got unceremoniously dumped and barely mentioned, we've not really fixed that problem. The problem being that we couldn't really push the wingers on because we couldn't drop the midfielders back, and FM24 doesn't like that. So we can't really put... I mean, Best would be better playing forward. Hannah Duggan definitely would be better playing in a position he's more comfortable in. So a 4-2-4 probably suits the 4 attackers much better, but we don't have the midfielders to be able to do it. I mean, we do in the squad, just not on the pitch today, and these are our best midfielders, so we do sacrifice a little bit in midfield. I guess the solution is train these 2 to play defensive midfielder just as much as we're training our other players to play on left midfield, and hope that someone gets there relatively quickly and we're able to have a little bit of a fiddle. And we're already 1-0 down. This is the first goal ever scored in a Wembley match at this level, and we have conceded it. I expect to see a lot of this season. I've just seen that Matthew Jenkins has scored for Billericay, the guy with no contract, who's the best player in the entire league. Right, dude, let's do this. Push them both forward. Get him doing what he does best. He can then do this. And maybe we'll just one side. That's the accommodation I'm willing to make. We'll play 1 fullback. Machiavelli is better as a flying wing back anyway. So I guess if we're going to do this, we may as well go attacking and offer some encouragement and see if maybe playing them in more natural positions helps. Here you go. We've got a corner immediately. Machiavelli with the in-swinger, and Leo Young starts the season the way he finished last season, scoring goals. He got into double figures for goals last season. He is such an aerial threat from these corners. I think it's the glasses. I think they distract people because he's not a particularly big boy. We've got much bigger players in our team. Young's only 6'1", but with those spectacles, he is an absolute unmarkable nightmare. 15 for jumping reach, 8 for heading. There's no logic why he should be so unplayable in these situations. If you compare him to some of our bigger boys, I mean, Camper, I guess he's actually smaller. I thought Camper was bigger than that. Who have we got who's bigger? I'm sure we had some. Sam Brown, for example. He's 6'4" with better jumping reach, but his heading's not as good. And of course, he's not on the pitch currently. Who else? I'm sure we had more players who were quite tall. Maybe we don't. Let's not question it. Young scores goals, and that's quite handy. We are staying on attacking, though, because it's RC. Tom Best is injured. The other problem we've got is we don't have anyone else who can play on the right wing either once we get past Best. We are very, very light with wingers. We've got a lot of attackers. Maybe we just go to like a 4-3-3, like an old school 4-3-3, not this fancy modern 4-3-3 that's basically a 4-5-1. I'm talking a proper old school 3 centre forwards, 3 central midfielders, and just make do with what we've got. They're the players we've got at our disposal. Let's see what's wrong with Best. Best has got a groin. We don't have anyone, like I say, no one else who can play there. Moores, you know what? To be fair, Moores kind of can. I mean, Best's coming off. Davidson's going to come on in midfield, and we'll play him just as a winger, a normal winger out there. And I guess it's going to have to be fine. We've moved him from playing as a ball-winning midfielder in central midfield to, yeah, just go and be a part of the front four. Big fancy attacking man now. This squad is paper thin, and a lot of them are loans. I feel like we've got fewer players than we had last year, but they're all on more money, which I guess it was the game plan. That was the logic that we've been having for the last couple of years. Fewer players on more money, pad it out with loans. You only need like 15, 16 first-team quality players, and that should be fine. But I don't know that that's what we've got. Laycock and Camper, neither of them being any good. Roberts is going to come on. Roberts is also a poacher, so Roberts can come on and play alongside Camper. And, I mean, if he comes on and scores, Laycock could be done before he's even got started at this level, because Roberts is on twice the money that Laycock's on. Maybe not quite twice the money, but he's an expensive boy. He's also not come on and scored, though, so I don't think we need to worry too much on that front. And O'Doy can come off. Sam Brown can come on at right back. He also probably would benefit from playing as an out-and-out fullback rather than a wing-back, so we'll leave him on that instruction. He's basically a centre-back playing at right-back, so... And he's another one who's 6'4". See there, Young has been dominated in the air. How is he so dominant at the other end, but can't defend from someone doing the exact same thing to him? It's Young who's on this guy. He doesn't miss a header at the other end. Defending, though, for our defender, much more problematic. We've gone very attacking. We're demanding more. An equaliser would be lovely. Ultimately, losing by the odd goal away from home on the first day in a new division isn't a disaster, especially when we had to take our best player off at half-time. The alarming thing for me is how poorly Sam Camper has played. 30 goals last season. Doesn't look like he's ever scored a goal in his life. He's barely had a touch, which is alarming. Hopefully we'll be a little better in the second game. Right, we made a bunch of changes for the Lewis games. We only had a couple of days to prepare for it. We have also signed 2 players, scraping the barrel very much so. Jaden Fairley has a left foot and can play in midfield. So on that basis, he's in. He's also an accomplished centre-back, which is jolly nice. He's 6 foot tall. He's relatively quick. I mean, fingers crossed he'll be any good. I guess we'll find out. And we've got another guy who can play on the right-hand side, Joel Vincent. Again, I'm not desperately excited about him, but at least it's a player who can cover for Best if Best is unavailable. That being said, he has passed his fitness test, so Best is going to start because Best is best. So we need to include him. So this is the 11, quite different to the previous one, apart from defensively. It's the same back four, Sharman, Lowe, Machiavelli, Larson, Young and O'Doy. But then in midfield, Fairley's going to come straight in and make his debut alongside Marrow and Davidson as the centre mids. Best starting on the right, and then Camper retains his spot despite playing poorly, but we're going to give Alex Roberts a go from the start. Hannah Duggan dropping to the bench while I decide what position he's ultimately going to end up playing in. I still think probably he's going to be our best option on the left-hand side of midfield. It just alarms me that he could be recalled at any moment. This, of course, is our first game at our new home, which is over an hour away from Wembley. So the new goal, Wembley to Wembley, takes on a whole new meaning now, because now we want to return Wembley to Wembley. Forget Wembley Stadium. We just want to be in the vicinity of Wembley by the time the series ends. And we've not started off great at our new home. All-seater as well. Look how fancy it is. It doesn't have that same gritty non-league feel, does it, playing in an all-seater, shiny new stadium that's an hour and a half away from where all our fans are. We did sell 46 season tickets, though, which is 11 more than last year. I wonder how many of them are locals to this area rather than being actually Wembley fans, because, of course, there was another team ground sharing here last year, ended up finishing rock bottom of the National League, or National League South, this league. So maybe some of their season ticket holders have just been like, well, I may as well carry on going there and watching a team lose every week, which we're not letting them down at the moment. Roberts is in, though, and Roberts has missed. Would Laycock have scored? Possibly. I'm not writing Laycock off. I'm just trying to work out who my best team is. It's early days, isn't it? Marrow plays it back to Davidson, and now Camper in midfield. The advantage of these two in midfield, which was where the thinking was when I first picked them and then I didn't do it, was these two can both play defensive midfield, so we can push the wingers forward with these two in central midfield. But then I went for another iteration of the team and we ended up not. And now Camper's injured. That's not ideal. That's really not ideal. So we've taken injuries to our two best players early on. I'm going to bring on Hannah Duggan, because Hannah Duggan can play as a pressing forward, whereas Laycock is the same as Roberts. So I don't know that we necessarily benefit from having both of them on. What we will do, though, is we're going to push these two forward and try and get Best more involved and drop these two back as per the pre-match plan and go a bit more attacking. I don't know if Fairley's going to be able to do anything. I mean, we have the option of moving Hannah Duggan out to the left for Fairley if Fairley doesn't do the job. And then we could bring Laycock on to do it. So there is still more fiddling we can do. But I am worried that we've now had Best and Camper both pick up injuries. It does not bode well for the season, because if we're going to survive, those two boys both need to do very, very well and stay fit. On the topic of survival, there you go. Roberts has scored now. That's his first goal for the club. Our first goal at the new ground. Lovely, lovely, lovely. As I was saying, the board are just looking for me to attempt to avoid relegation. So if the worst does happen and we get relegated, I think I'll probably survive in the job anyway. So it won't necessarily mean the end of the series and all of the panic that would be involved in that. But at 1-1, less panic. Roberts seems to be doing quite well. I didn't expect my front four to look like this a game and a half into the season, but if we end up coming away with a point or some points from this match, then I don't care who the personnel are. Apparently Fairley's now being played out of position. Are you kidding? He can't play there. You are pathetic. Right, you get back there. We're going to leave Best further forward. We're going to be asymmetrical, because that's what the cool kids do. And we'll do that. I think without Camper or Laycock up front, the front two need Best there to support. So maybe if we do this again, play him as a normal fullback, allowing Best to go and dance about and do Best things, that might be good. There you go. Fairly immediately more involved. Now he's playing a little bit deeper. Hannah Duggan, I think, has flicked the ball on to Best there. If Best can find Roberts, he can. And Alex Roberts might be quite good. A second goal for him. And we might have stumbled across a system as well, because Best, much more involved than we saw him in the first match. Obviously, he went off injured in the first match, but much more involved from playing in this more attacking position, which is closer to how he played in his first 3 years at the club. So maybe we're going to do something fancy like this and be lopsided. We'll drop back to positive, because obviously we're over the moon being ahead in the match. We don't need to keep pushing on. My dog's even excited, as you can hear. Oh, we've scored again. Lovely, lovely, lovely. The problem, of course, with this system is it does exclude several of our midfielders from actually being a part of it. But I guess we're retraining half the squad in different positions anyway. Let's retrain all the midfielders to play as defensive midfielders or wingers. It's fine. This is the system, everybody, based on this one match. And it includes a fullback. Oh, the comment section is going to be over the moon that we've got a normal fullback. I've also taken the keeper off of Sweeper Keeper. So there's so many things that the comment section's been calling out for. If I started playing Tom Best at centre forward as well, you'd all lose your mind. Can't do that. Best is best on the wing. Look at him, picking the ball up deep, doing magical things the way only Tom Best. It's like having the Tom Best of old back, and he's injured today. O'Doy with the cross. Fairley's there, but can't keep his header down. And it remains 3-1. I think we have to offer a little bit of praise in this situation. We've got another corner here. It's Fairley to take. You know we're good from the set pieces. Davidson trying to challenge the keeper, but the keeper does get there first. It remains 3-1. Remember the context as well, boys and girls. Lewis absolutely thumped us last year, admittedly at their place, but it was like 4 or 5-0 from what I remember, and we got unceremoniously dumped out of the FA Cup. So that does suggest that this team might be an improvement. What has Tom Best done there? We know he's better than that. I mean, I know he's carrying a knock today. We are going to take him off in a minute, but he's definitely better than that. I mean, Sharman Lowe, I guess that's the advantage of him being 6'4". It wasn't very confident, but if he'd have been any shorter, he flaps at that and misses. We ultimately end up conceding from it anyway, but it was, I guess at least he got his fingertips to it initially. Oh, please don't let him back in. I've started my victory speech already. Best's going to have to come off. Tom Best is shattered. How much is his miss going to cost us in this match as well? Because we could really use 3 points to start the season off properly after that previous match with the disappointment of the late goal. Oh, for goodness sake, who was that? I was about to move him into Best's position, and now we're down to 10 men. That was an absolute maniac tackle. Well, Best's still going to have to come off, so I guess Blaine Scowen is going to go out there. Absolute insanity we've just seen there. So you can just be a winger further forward. I guess you're going to have to do the job on your own up front. Davidson's tired as well, so we don't have any other midfielders who can play defensive midfield. Are we going to go even fruitier with this and do that? No, we are. You know we are, boys and girls. Look at that for a midfield. Goodness me. I was worried about not fitting Moores and Scowen in. They're both in there now. It's Marrow to take. We've got 25 minutes probably to try and survive in this game. Larson is in, and Adam Larson gets his first goal as a permanent Wembley player. Fairley's involved again. He's playing quite well now. He's on the left-hand side of midfield. It's quite handy having a centre-back playing on the wing. I mean, what is this system? But it's working. We're 4-2 up now. I said we'd score goals. We just can't defend. And it seems that is as true this year as it was last year. But at 4-2 up, we're dropping praise again because we're doing very, very well. And even despite being down to 10 men, we are beating a team that are better than we are. We know they're better than we are. And this does bode well for the season. We just have to survive this year. We're not looking for back-to-back promotions, anything silly like that. A comfortable, solid mid-table finish will be fine. And we might just be able to pull it off if this is anything to go by. There's Scowen turning comfortably, running himself into trouble, but then getting himself out of trouble again. And he has got Roberts on the inside there. If he can find him, Roberts is on a hat-trick. He plays it across to Roberts, and Alex Roberts has a hat-trick in his first start for the club. So Laycock and Camper, take note. You might have got nearly 60 goals between you last year, but you've both looked rubbish this year, and this guy's just done a hat-trick. So we've got competition for places at centre forward, and that is, I mean, we went so many years in this save without ever being able to find a 30-goal-a-season striker. We've potentially got 4 of them at the club now, if you include Best. What a time to be alive, and what a beautiful Vanarama South that is. In the playoffs as it stands currently. Beautiful stuff. And we also don't have to play in the FA Cup until the second qualifying round. We might actually make it into the real FA Cup again this year. Lovely old stuff. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.